We have some massive news over here coming out of Amazon, a company that just a week ago I was publicly roasting for being slow to the game with AI. They made a lot of investments in Anthropic. Sure, $8 billion. That's crazy. And that's the number two AI play. So a lot of people are like, oh, they're in the game. But it's like, come on, this is a huge company. Why can't they, really put their own stuff out? Amazon has turned the tables and has now released not one, not two, but announced 4 new AI chat models. They've announced a video model, an image model. It is insanity. Connor did a whole post over on LinkedIn that went mega viral. And let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Connor, what is the most shocking thing about what's going on with Amazon right now?
Yeah, and Jaden, I'm dying to hear your take on that too, because you're right on the image generation, everything. But the huge thing by far is just Amazon kept this wildly under wraps. I mean, we've heard about Olympus and everything. You know what I mean? Remember hearing about like all these foundation models, and maybe it's going to be called Olympus. But quick backstory: you remember that Amazon was going to come out with their own product, and I think it was actually called Bedrock before. And then ChatGPT came out, and they're like, "Oh, never mind," because ChatGPT was so much better. And this idea then that they hadn't come out with the foundation model, and everybody's wondering, well, is Amazon pulling the same card that Apple is pulling, which is we're going to wait till we have something strong. But you're right. It seemed like because they had Alexa and everything else, they were just going all in with Anthropic. And you can imagine Claude just taking over. Claude is a fantastic model. Guys, if you're not using Claude, use Claude. I beg you. It is an absolutely phenomenal model. And you can imagine them just powering using Anthropic's LLMs for everything. But no, at Ignite, they came out, and the one that the phrase that I used was like that they woke up that week and chose violence, and it really felt like that, because they came out and they said, hey, first of all, we have new foundation models, but we're also coming out with this supercomputer. We have chips that Anthropic is going to be using. So a couple of the huge things. First of all, the sneaky huge thing was that they have chips, these Trinium 2 chips, which are apparently just pretty awesome, competing with NVIDIA. And look, nobody was competing with NVIDIA. I wonder what this is going to do to NVIDIA stock price and everything else. But especially because then who comes out on stage but Apple? And they're like, yeah, we're trying out these Trinium chips. Like, what? Like, Apple is using these? Obviously, Anthropic is going to be training on all these chips. So Amazon has gotten to the game in a huge way. They also have these now huge foundation models, small, medium, large, all this kind of stuff. In fact, 6 new what they call Nova models that match or exceed. But the really cool thing too is that it's going to be priced 75% lower than current market leaders out there. Guys, that is insane. It's already powering 1,000 Amazon applications. It's this idea that they are coming out of the gate with a fully formed beast. That then, of course, they're competing with NVIDIA on chips, these Trainium 2, 4x performance gains. Apple's on there, all that kind of stuff. Like Trainium 3 is already in development. Then they have this Project Rainier, which is the supercomputer to compete with Elon Musk and his supercomputer. It looks like it's going to be even way, way bigger than that. And of course, they have, as Jaden referenced, this partnership with Anthropic. And this partner, by the way, investing $8 billion in Anthropic is sort of like investing in themselves. So basically, Anthropic is going to be pouring all this stuff back into AWS Cloud. It's going to be using their chips, all this kind of stuff. So I don't know. Amazon came out of the gate today, Jaden, and just blew everybody away.
Okay, I'm going to give them some credit, and then I will give them one criticism. Okay, first of all, criticism slim, because they have just crushed every expectation on everything. But that's actually part of my criticism. My criticism is Amazon is so phenomenal. AWS is so phenomenal. All these updates are so phenomenal. I almost wonder if they needed, like, I kind of hate this tech cycle that these big tech companies do of like one big conference, like even Apple, where they unveil every single thing that's happening. I get they do it for hype and for news and stuff. I kind of feel like, though, in today's environment and economy, doing a lot of micro updates, I feel does better to keep you in the news cycle on X or on anywhere else that people are kind of talking about it. So to be honest, I think Amazon could have milked it and got more positive PR if they had just, individually unveiled all the text models, and then an image model, and then a video model. And I think they could have gotten farther, but maybe that's just me from like a marketing or PR perspective. At the end of the day, it's incredible everything they've done. I just think that if they rolled it out, they could have kept in our ears longer and not gotten like what am I gonna have to wait till next year for them to unveil whatever the next big things are?
Well, Jaden, maybe you were just on that front, because I want to hear your thoughts on this. But on that front, it's sort of hard, right? Because they have reInvent. Google has I/O when they came out with Google's been shipping like crazy, but they're not really in the news. But after I/O, they were in the news. I don't know. They're in a tough position, right? I mean, like this is when all eyes are on them. So I kind of like the giant kaiju Godzilla kind of coming out and stomping thing. I hear your point, but I'm a huge fan of this. We're gonna crush everybody moment.
I do. Yeah, okay. It is fun and it's a big hype moment, but every hype moment is over in like a week and then it's out of the news cycle. And my only concern with it, so I agree that it's fun to have the big moments. The only thing I don't like about it, or the only other thing is sometimes when you, and we've talked about this before, but sometimes when you have like 6 big announcements, I'm just going to tell everyone, oh my gosh, they have 4 models. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And then, oh, and there's chips. Oh, and there's video. Like, I just feel like when there's like 1 or 2 of these things that really takes the headline and the rest get forgotten. And I don't want them to get forgotten because I think every single thing they announced is insane and worthy of its own news cycle, pretty much. So that's where I'm at on it. I wanted to show you though, they've also announced that they have Canvas and Reel. Canvas is their new image generator. Reel is their new video generator. These things are coming out soon, and they're going to be having APIs to them. This is very, very exciting. Currently, the Reel one can only do 6 seconds. Okay, but they're talking about doing 3 minutes later. They give a couple samples of videos that they were able to generate. Now, I will be the first to say, the videos are impressive. They're not like the most impressive video generation models. They're kind of lower quality, but they do look realistic. And it reminds me a lot of what happened with Runway, right? These look a lot like the clips you would have gotten out of Runway about a year ago. But very quickly, Runway was able to come up with a very high fidelity model in the future. And now Runway, I honestly think, is some amazing video generation. If you're using it, that's definitely one I would check out. Anyway, so I think it's exciting that they're coming out with this. Maybe not a standalone product, and maybe that's why they would announce it with everything else. The other thing that they came out with that I think is a little bit more ready to use. So, we're on AI Applied, how you actually use this stuff. I would say the Reel, probably not ready for the mainstream yet, although it's getting there and it's really impressive. What's ready for the mainstream, I think, is Canvas. They showed a bunch of image demos that actually look like great images. They look good, look like something you're getting out of Midjourney or the other models. And to me, I guess they are a little bit cherry picked, so that definitely take it with a caveat. But to me, they're looking even better, a little bit better than what you're getting out of OpenAI's DALL-E 3, which I'm going to be the first to say maybe they have a whole update coming on this later today with their 12 days of shipments over OpenAI. But DALL-E 3 has been beaten for at least a year.
Agreed.
And it's just not a tool that I would ever recommend to anyone in its current state. Flux is fantastic. You can use that over on X. Midjourney is obviously fantastic. Both of those tools, I think, squarely beat up. But what AWS has done here is starting to look like some of the same realism and some of the same high quality that we're seeing from those models. So that to me is very exciting as well.
Gene, let me ask you that on the image, because you're awesome at all the image stuff and the Reel stuff and all that sort of stuff. And Jane has been talking video for way before anybody was talking video. And by the way, Gene, last night I was with Cristobal Valenzuela, the CEO of Runway. We were doing a thing together at Washington Post, which was totally awesome. So seeing like what they're doing is absolutely amazing. But here's the thing that maybe my question on this is that how much do people actually care about amazing quality? Like, are we way too far ahead of the curve? In other words, for me, Midjourney is phenomenal. So when I see what Amazon is coming out with here, are we in the sort of like the good enough category? Like most people will just use DALL-E because it's built into ChatGPT and you can say, hey, just create me an image. And so anybody that's using these Amazon tools and they're, they already have, that's their cloud provider and they're already, using Bedrock to choose tools, all that sort of stuff. It's one of these things where I feel like most people are not looking for the absolute number one quality because Midjourney is clearly it. And now that Midjourney is on a browser, it's much, much easier to use. But I wonder if in the same way DALL-E is just sort of like, quote unquote, kind of good enough. I wonder if that's all Amazon was trying to do. It wasn't trying to go all in because I'm guessing it is expensive to create these tools. And the people that are going to Amazon are not the same people that are going to Midjourney. That are going to Runway for the top quality stuff. There are people who are like trying to sort of create an image for a PowerPoint presentation or to mock up something or as a joke or something like that, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, sure.
I wonder if the good enough thing is fine for Amazon right now.
Okay, so for the video, yeah, I don't think that's a standalone product. That's more them showing, their chops that they're working on it. For the image, I'm impressed with what they're doing. I think quality does matter to people. I'll give you a little sneak peek on the AI Box platform. I've built something where you can essentially use a whole bunch of different AI models, and you can run the same prompt in different image generation ones to see which one does the best. So I did a green
Oh
dog,
yeah.
and the image I'm showing, if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, is essentially a okay, actually, I don't even like the quality of this. This is from Dolly 3. This is what they did for Green Dog. It does not look realistic. If you do Dolly 2, it's obviously like garbage. So I'll say they've come a long way from like complete garbage to like sort of. But okay, let's go to Flux. Flux, when you say green dog, gives you a literal looks like a green dog. Its fur is green. It looks like a real green dog. Back to Dolly 3. This thing's like too shiny. It doesn't actually look like a dog. And even if you go to a company like Ideogram, the latest model out of Ideogram, if you say a green dog, it looks like a cinematic real green dog. Ideogram is very similar to what you get with Midjourney. There's no API for Midjourney, unfortunately, so I don't have it on here. But to me, if you're a serious person that actually has to use your assets for something, like maybe for a PowerPoint presentation internally at your company, you could get away with Dolly 3 because it doesn't really matter and people get the idea. But if I'm actually putting an asset on my website or trying to get new customers or trying to be professional, I think 100% the quality improvements you're getting out of Flex or out of Ideogram are so much higher than, I don't know, the Dolly that, like, personally I could never just use Dolly if I needed it for something that was important
No.
that would be public facing. So I do think the quality is important. And on that note, I'm quite excited with what Amazon has done, because I do think that their quality of their images is great and is doing a good job, and could definitely, if it gets embedded into a lot of software, like you mentioned, UI's everything, I think Amazon could do quite well with their image generator for now.
Yeah, when they're popping out stuff like that. And again, if you're not on YouTube, check it out. And I love when Jaden does these demos of AI box, because it's so helpful, because we keep saying, well, use this tool or use this tool, but in fact, to have it all in this great user interface that AI bots has and be able to switch around is just totally awesome. I agree. I think probably images are awesome in this. I think that video, we're still not quite there yet. But listen, Amazon has, I know that we're here with OpenAI's ships missing stuff like that. To me, Amazon has still won the day, because again, it's like the big beast that everybody was waiting for came out, and everybody was waiting for this with Apple. They still are not there. I don't care what we say about Apple Intelligence. I love Apple. I use everything Apple, but come on, man, we got to get this Apple Intelligence working better. So the fact that Amazon hasn't just said what's going to come, but they said what they have already, super impressed. Giant kudos to Amazon.
100%. Kudos to the whole team. Hey, if you enjoyed the episode today, if you learned anything new, we would really appreciate only one thing. We don't ask a lot over here, but if you could leave us a review on the podcast, that would mean the world to us. Over on Spotify, it's the About tab. And if you are on Apple Podcasts, drop us some stars and some comments. We really do appreciate it. We read them all. And it really makes our day. And for Christmas this year, the only thing Connor told me that he wanted for Christmas, which is absolutely crazy, I was like, surely he wants, some new cologne from his wife. No, he said the only thing he wanted was a review on the podcast. So if you could do us all a favor, make his Christmas, we'd greatly appreciate it. Catch you all next time.